Hi, welcome to Loft Data 1. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about the second half of the crime epic saga, Gangs of Wasseypur. Part 2 felt like a stronger and more engaging movie than Part 1 for me, mostly because it moves with a little more energy and it gives you more payoff when it comes to the violence, betrayals, and generational chaos. At the same time, this is still a hefty commitment. Even if Part 2 is still quicker and more eventful than Part 1, the pacing can slow down in some stretches, and the 5.5-hour runtime between both movies is a lot. These movies are definitely well worth watching, but I'm never going to revisit them. I had a good time with them, and I'm happy to leave it there. What I really liked about Part 2 is how it continues showing that Wasseypur itself is almost more important than any one character. Just like in the first movie, the setting evolves with the people. You feel the passage of time, not just through aging faces and changing power structures, but through the environment, the weapons, the technology, and the way crime continues to modernize. In Part 1, it felt more dusty, raw, and foundational as we watched the roots of the blood feud take place. In Part 2, the world becomes more modern and chaotic. Suddenly, there are pagers, cell phones, AK-47s, political campaigns, warehouses, and a more industrial kind of criminal empire. I thought this was one of the coolest parts of the movie. It really gives the sense that time is moving forward, but the violence is just evolving with it rather than disappearing. Faizal is probably the most interesting character in this movie because he starts off as the last person in the world who you think is going to take over. At first, he seems passive, stoned, detached, and almost too broken or too lazy to step into his father's role. But that's exactly why his arc works. Watching him gradually turn into this feared, hollow, increasingly brutal figure is one of the best things in the movie. He doesn't rise like some triumphant hero. He rises like someone slowly rotting from the inside while gaining power. By the end, he's not really better than the people he hates. He's just another product of Wasseypur. And performance-wise, Nawazuddin Siddiqui really carries a lot of that transformation. I thought he was really good in this role because he doesn't play Faizal as this loud, oversized gangster right away. He gives him this laid-back, burned out, almost awkward energy early on, and then he slowly shifts into someone more dangerous and more commanding. That change is what makes the performance work. He feels unpredictable without overplaying it. There's this sense that Faizal is both in control and not in control of himself, and I think Nawazuddin sells that really well. The supporting characters are also a big part of why this movie stays memorable. Perpendicular is one of the wildest people in the film. He's not just violent, he's deeply unsettling. He's a kid who has been fully shaped by chaos and has no chance of ever becoming normal. Then Definite comes in and somehow feels even worse in every way. He's young, petty, reckless, and more openly power hungry. He doesn't seem to care about loyalty, family, or respect unless those things serve him. That made him feel especially dangerous to me because he represents how much each new generation becomes more unstable than the last. And the actors playing these characters really helped that come through. I thought the performances across the board were strong and believable, even if there wasn't a single performance that blew me away. Still, the cast does a really good job of making a huge web of characters feel lived in. There are so many betrayals, alliances, and revenge threads that the movie could easily become emotionally flat, but the actors ground it so that you stay invested. I especially liked how Faizal's family members, rivals, and younger successors all feel distinct in their energy. Even when characters are awful people, the performances make them watchable. I also liked seeing how the older generation and the younger generation clashed through both the writing and the acting. Bloodier still has that manipulative presence looming over everything, and Sultan feels like one of those characters who is dangerous largely because he's so direct and forceful. Meanwhile, the younger guys feel more erratic and impulsive. That generational contrast works because the actors sell it physically too. The older men carry themselves like people shaped by survival and long-term grudges, while the younger ones feel more reckless, theatrical, and self-destructive. That difference helped make the movie feel like it was genuinely about the evolution of violence, not just repeating the same conflict. I also appreciated the cultural texture again. The weddings, the music, the way families gather, the neighborhood dynamics, the houses, the rituals, and the little social details, all of that give the movie personality. It helps the story feel rooted in a real place with its own identity. Even when the plot gets dense or the pacing slows down, that setting kept me engaged. I liked seeing how the world changes from one era to the next while still feeling like the same cursed place. The music helped a lot with that. A lot of it adds flavor and atmosphere, even if there were definitely a couple of moments later on where the choices felt goofy to me, especially during the hospital climax. The music during that part didn't really work for me as well as it should have. What this movie does really well is that by the end it shows that nobody escapes this world clean. Nobody wins in a meaningful way. Blood stops mattering. Family stops mattering. Love barely matters. Everything gets swallowed by revenge, ego, violence, and survival. And even after all the killing, the story leaves you with the sense that Wasseypur itself will just keep going. One person falls, another takes their place, and the battlefield remains the same. I thought that final feeling is one of the strongest things this movie had going for it. Gangs of Wasseypur Part 2 is the better half of the story, especially in terms of momentum, action, and watching the generational fallout become even messier and more destructive. I really liked the way the characters evolve, the way the setting changes with time, and the way the actors help sell this world as something ugly, lived in and constantly decaying. At the same time, this whole saga is still a big time commitment. Even though I'm glad I experienced it, it's a one and done viewing for me. Gangs of Wasseypur is an ambitious, brutal, and thematically rich crime epic. For me, it doesn't quite reach the heights of a movie like Bahubali or RRR, but I absolutely enjoyed it and I understand why it has the reputation it does. Like I said in my review of Part 1, if you want to hop into this story, I'd certainly recommend it. Just be aware you'll need to invest 5.5 hours to get all the bang for your buck. If you don't care about returns and want to see this as a standalone film, I'd still recommend it, but it's not going to hit the same without the context of Part 1. Anyways, thank you for listening to my review of Gangs of Wasseypur Part 2. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the video, I'm sending the cons after you. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.